What's up, guys? Welcome back to our tutorial series on creating a form with PHP. In this episode, we learned about how to get data from our database and how to display it on a website with PHP and HTML, which was pretty cool. But in this episode, we're going to be learning about how to actually insert data into our database for others to use and for other people to view, so that way we can have any data we want in our database. I just added this little our users thing just because I just thought it looked better. But yeah, so let's just hop into our code here, and the first thing we're going to do is, you don't have to do this, but I think it's just going to make everything a little neater. We should be putting some comments in different places of our files, so that way we can keep track of where everything is. So the first comment I want to put in is right before we do any of this, we'll just do connect to the database. The next comment, let's see, when do we stop? We stopped connecting to the database right here. This is the last line where we're actually running connection code. So I'm just going to put a bunch of these, so that way we know, okay, that's the end of this little section of our code. The next thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to put something here, display data, display users table, boom. So now, in between here is where we're going to write some code to insert stuff, because we want to write some code to insert stuff before the user sees the table, because normally you'll have like a sign up page before you have a posting page or something like that, or you'll have like your sign up before you can view all the users, like it'll just be on top of it. But yeah, also I realized from the last episode I forgot to do one thing, which was create an age attribute. So I'll just copy, paste, and then paste again, and then put an enter. And I forgot to create an age for our table, so age. And then up here at the top, age. So just some cleanup, which is never fun, but I figure we might as well do it just to make everything a little bit nicer. So there we go. Now, in between here and here, this is all irrelevant to what we're doing in this tutorial for the most part. So what we need to do is, if we're going to give let the users enter some data, we need to give them a way to actually put the data into the page. And now, can you guys think of something that we could use for inserting data to the page or getting data from the users? Well, if you've thought right, if you were to have guessed HTML forums, you thought right. And now an HTML forum, of course, is like this. If we go into our test.php, yeah, you can see this right here. This is an HTML forum. This is an HTML forum right here. And those are text boxes. If you put that in there, it's supposed to do something. I don't know what it was supposed to do. Probably send the values to this chicken or whatever. I don't really know what it does, but whatever. There's that. So yeah, we need to use HTML forms to get information from our users. So in order to do that, we need to break our PHP code. So there we go. Not physically breaking it, but like stopping the PHP code so we can put some HTML in there. PHP. So we need to change the syntax in Sublime to HTML, so we can be working with emit and stuff, because what we're writing right now is HTML. So inside of here, this is inside our HTML. Everything in between these PHPs is going to be HTML data. So the first thing we want is we don't want a table, we want a form. So I'm just going to do this in emit. And you can type all the code if you want, but if you have Sublime, and I showed you guys how to set up emit, go ahead and do that. But you can type all the HTML yourself. So form, and inside our form, we're going to want inputs of, so we want an input times, we need a username, password, email, age, and a submit button. So we'll do 5 inputs, and of course, input plus br. Let me do this. Yeah, input plus br, and then we'll do this, and outside of here we'll do times 5. And this is just emit code. You can learn all about emit if you really want to, but yeah, it's just a super easy way to do HTML. So as you can see, we just get, actually there's one more thing I want to change about that. Input, and here we want the name attribute. And now this doesn't make much sense to you guys if you don't know emit, but go learn emit, it's amazing. So the first thing we have in our form is our action, which we're not going to be using, so you could delete that, and I will in a minute. We want to give our first input is going to need a name, and we're going to call it username. The next part, we have, so the way we have this set up is we have 4 text inputs. We're going to have this one down here is submit. So username, the next input is going to be our password. The next one is going to be our email. Next one's going to be age. And then that is all for those. Now this one is going to be a submit. So let's just change this. And we're going to give it a name of query. So there we go. And now inside of here, before we start doing any code, we need to just put some names out here. And now this is a terrible way to do it. But we're terrible people, so whatever. But usually you're supposed to have these inside of paragraphs, but just for the sake of time or whatever, I'm just gonna do that later on. So that way we're just gonna put them inside of we're just gonna put the words right out next to it. So username, password. Next one is email. I don't know if you're supposed to capitalize the E, but we're gonna do it. Email. Next one is age. There we go. And then we don't need any text beside that. So that is our HTML form. Super easy to create. Took like no time to do that, which is always good. Just make sure you have everything set up the way I do. If not, you can set it however you want. Oh, one more thing. We need to give it a method. So form method equals, let me get rid of this one. Method equals a post. And now you guys, if you don't know how this works, you can go back to my older tutorial. It was like probably like episode 8 or something. I don't know when I did this, but I did talk about all this stuff, creating HTML forms. So go ahead and watch that if you don't already know. So now inside our PHP, let me change the syntax to syntax PHP. Boom, there you go. So now, inside our PHP, what we need to do is we need to get all the values from this database. I mean, not from this database, from this HTML form. And then we need to start submitting them into the database with a query. So, what we need to do is, before any of this, we need to start creating some variables. And our first variable is going to be called username. Username, we're going to equal to $_post. Inside here, username. And the reason why we're doing it, we're setting it equal to post username is because when this form, when we push the button to submit our data, it's going to submit it through post back to this page, and all these usernames are going to be in this associative array of post, just as a little refresher. So username equals $_post username, and now I'm just going to copy this line with Control-Shift-D 2, 3, 4 times. Okay. Next one is going to be password. We're going to set password equal to post. Password, oh, that's not password. Nope, that's not password either. Password, that took a few tries. Next one is email. And of course you can do these in whatever order as long as you don't get these mixed up. And then username. Oh, wait, no, we want to call this one age. We're going to, of course, set that equal to username, and we're going to change it to age. So there we go. Now, what we need to do is we need to test, well, we probably should have done this beforehand, but whatever. So what we need to do is we need to test that our button is pushed. And to do that, we just say if, I'll just do it up here. So we say tab, oh, I'll just do that in a second. So we say if, and of course opening it, we're going to say if I set, or is set, let's just say I set. So if is set $_post. And now what we want to do is we want to check to see if this button is clicked. So when this button is clicked, the value of $post query will be set because that button's called query. So we're going to say if is set post. What is that? Yeah. Query. So we're going to see if the query button has been pushed, and if it has, make sure you put your final bracket there, and then just indent everything. But the reason why we need this here is to make sure this button's pushed, because if not, we don't want to set these to variables because then it just gets confused. So yeah, go ahead and do all that and save your page, and let's just refresh and see what it looks like. Boom. Now we get some inputs. They don't look very good because they're not, you know, made to be on the same line or anything, but they still look fine, which is good. So yeah, now what we're going to do next is we're going to need to write an insert query. So I'm going to go to PHP myadmin just to see what one looks like again. So localhost /php myadmin, and just go there. Come on. And now if we go into our forum, users, okay. So inside here we've got our table here, and if we go to insert or SQL, we can select and just delete that. And now an insert query looks like this. Insert into table name. This is just an example. Column 1, column 2, and then values. I'm just trying to give you guys an example or refresh your minds. Data 1, data 2, of course a comma. There you go, and that is what an insert query looks like for the most part. That's the most basic insert query you could probably ever have. So yeah, that is the kind of query we're going to be writing. So if you guys remembered how we did it in the last episode, we created an SQL value, and then we queried the database. That's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're going to do $SQL equals quotation marks. And now I know some of you guys who have done other languages in the past have gone, well, you can't do that. You can't declare the same variable twice. Well, in PHP, declaration of a variable is the exact same thing as updating a variable. So if I said, $SQL equals chicken here, and then I said $SQL equals poop here, if SQL had already been defined, this just updates it. If it hasn't been defined, it just creates a new value with that. So yeah, that is why we can have as many SQL variables as we want, as long as we're updating them, each time, and then it's going to create a new one. But that's why we can run that same line of code over and over again. So what we're going to say is $SQL is going to be equal to insert into. We're just creating our insert query. So we're going to start our insert query with insert into. And now we want to give it our table name, which should be in our graves. It doesn't have to be in a grave, but we should be putting it in the grave accents. I don't know what you call these things in programming. But yeah, insert into users. Oh, not capitals. Users. And now we give it parentheses, and in the parentheses we say the names of the columns we want. So the columns we want to use are, of course, just username, password, email, and age. So I'm just gonna do this. Well, actually, I'll just do them now. Username, comma. Inside here, password, comma. Okay, username, password, email, age, and now that we have this here, this is our columns. All the columns we're gonna use. Now we have to put some data into the columns. So we have to create our row. And to do that, we just say values, and now inside this parentheses, we will do, these have to be in quotations. What we're about to do, we're going to put all our variables inside of here, but they have to be wrapped around apostrophes, which are single quotes. So inside of single quotes, you can't, unless it's an integer, you can't just put normal data on here. Otherwise, you can't just put it as raw data, because then SQL will try to submit raw data, and because that's not a column name or a row name or a table name, it's going to get confused. So you have to put it in quotes. So values is going to be equal to, first is $username, next one is $password, next one is $age, well, no, email. You gotta wrap all these in quotes. Forgot to mention that. So quotation, 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 quotation. Okay, so $email, comma, and now age. Age is an int, so it does not need to be wrapped in quotation marks, because it is just a number. So We don't need quotations for age. So there we go. Now, we want to see what this actually looks like before we send it to the database. So, echo SQL. Boom. Now let's just see if we go back to our page and refresh it. And now we start putting some stuff in the data. Username, Paul, whatever. FFF, A at B.C, and then age. That's not a number. Let's just see what this query looks like. So if we run this, undefined index password. Did I spell it wrong or something? Line 33. What did I do wrong? $sign password equals. Okay. Let me see how I spelled that wrong. Name equals pass. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that. Hold on. Yeah, it should be. Did I not give it a password? And now age 4. Let's just see if this works. Submit. Nah, what the heck, man? Just a second, guys. Okay, so I'm just an idiot. I realized I had one of these graves next to password, so let me zoom way out here. I would never have noticed that. And now let's delete this grave, and now it'll work just fine. So if we go here, and we start giving it some data, this is mine. GF. Actually, username will be chicken man, SDF, F at dot, F, and now age is 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we just click submit, did it not save? I didn't save. Back. Come on. Just go back. Okay, and then submit. Why unidentified index? Come on, man. Okay, so I guess the site just didn't save or something stupid like that, but yeah. So now it is working just fine. As you can see, we get our query when we run that. So username, password, email, values, fastuf, astuf, satuf, 23. So perfect. That means everything is working just how we want it to. Now, let's go ahead and take this query, and we're going to submit it to the database. And now, hopefully you guys can remember the command to submit a query to the database. If you do, that's awesome. Go ahead and pause the video and try to run it and see if it works. But for those of you who don't, it's literally just MySQL _ query. And now we take in 2 parameters. The first one is our connection, so it knows where to send the data. And the second one is our SQL. So, let's see here. So there we go. It takes in, so what this does is it takes in, okay, I need to go to this database in this table, or I need to just go to this database with this IP address, log in, and now I need to take this query, and I want to submit it to the database, and just see if it works. So let's just go ahead and test it out. So my username will be WigglyTuff, because WigglyTuff is cute. Or no, we'll do Igglybuff, because Igglybuff is even better. Password, Buffy. Okay, email, igglybuff@pokemon.com, and then age, I don't know, 7. And now we go submit, and boom. Let's just check this out. If we go all the way down, as you can see, we get an Igglybuff @pokemon.com, a Puffy Buff, and 7. Now, that was submitted to our database. So if we go into our actual database and we go to our users table, we can see, if we go all the way down, we have, well, stupid Roy. Let me see some more rows. There we go. We have, there she is, Igglybuff, which is amazing. I don't know why this is 44, but whatever. That is Igglybuff for you. I think it's because I was messing around with database values and stuff. But yeah, that is how you can insert data into a database. So, refresh your minds. We built a form, and then we gathered all the information from it, and we took it from here, sent it into PHP, built a query with it, and then we submitted the query to the database. So yeah, that's going to end it for this tutorial. If you guys have hated it, leave a dislike, tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong. If you've loved it, subscribe for more content, like the video, and follow me on Twitter. Till next time, you little scrubby wubbies, I will see you in the next video.